Hi everyone, welcome to PezKnits episode 1. My name is Presley. This is my first ever YouTube video, so I apologize if I sound super awkward or ill-prepared. Hopefully the more I do this, the more I'll get used to recording myself. So I have actually written an agenda today because I know I have a habit of just like going off tangents, so I'm really gonna try and like stay on topic with everything today. Because this is episode 1, I thought it would be helpful for you guys to see what kind of objects I like to knit, and also kind of like my knitting background, so that you can kind of get to know me. So I've been knitting since I was like late primary school. My neighbor actually taught me how to knit, so shout out to her. And ever since I've just been knitting like crazy. But I only started to really seriously knit during the first lockdown. So like in 2020, 2021, that's when I started to like really seriously pick up knitting as a hobby. So I kind of like to define it there rather than early on, because I was just making silly stuff like scarves, like beginners normally do. So I have some past projects here that I want to show you to give you an idea of like my style of knitting. So let me just pick the first one here, and just so that you guys know, I've got like the worst memory ever. So I've like put a what is this called, like a sticky note on every single one of these projects. So if you see me like looking at this, it's because it has like the pattern information and stuff. So this first one, this is like my first major project. Because when I started in 2020, I couldn't even read patterns or anything. I just knew knit and purl. That's all I knew. So I didn't know how to read patterns. And this is my first like big pattern that I did. And I'm sure some of you may recognize this one. It's Stephen West's 2021. Yes, 2021 Shawlography, MKAL. Isn't she beautiful? Oh my goodness. Every time I bring this out, I'm just like, yeah, this is it. Like, so I'll tell you the yarn and stuff. There's there's 5 colors, and they're all the same type of yarn. It's Cascade Yarn's Heritage Sock, and the colors are wine, citron, pumpkin, mustard, and denim. And I also put in a little mohair dare, like Stephen always says, in the border. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty subtle, but right there to break up these colors. It's like super subtle. But you know, it's always fun to throw in things that only you would notice. Like, and I had some leftover from my past projects, so I was like, I'll just throw it in there. And what's really funny is that when I knitted this, I like had no problems. I like didn't make any mistakes. And I like finished it like a week after it had officially ended. So it took me 5 weeks instead of the 4. And during that time, I was like really disappointed in myself. I was like, oh, why didn't I finish it in time? Well, now in hindsight, I know that that was really good. And I'll come back to that because I'm talking about the current, like, well, not current, last year's MKAL. I'll get to that though. But that was my first major project that I completed, and I was really proud of this one. So let me put that away. Oh no, I haven't planned on where to put these. I'll just throw it over here. Yes, so the next one is another shawl. I went kind of shawl crazy at the beginning when I first started knitting seriously, and I think it's because it's usually like a uniform shape, and then you just like put a lot of like patterns in it, and lots of different stitches. So I think that's why I mainly enjoyed making shawls for quite a while. So this one's another Stephen West design, and I believe it was called Painting Diamonds. Let me check. Yes, Painting Diamonds by Stephen West. And all of this wool I actually bought from Stephen West's website, the Penelope and Stephen West website. My beautiful partner bought me a gift card for Christmas, so I was able to buy wool directly from his website that he recommended for this pattern. And I love this one. I feel like that first shawl that I showed you before, I like chose colors because they were like bright, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. But just because they're bright doesn't mean they're necessarily wearable. And I feel like that's a lesson that I learned early on, because as much as I love that previous shawl, I hardly ever wear it because it's like so loud and it doesn't go with my outfits at all. So I mainly just look at that one and admire it. But this one here, I wear this on really regularly because it like, I'm literally wearing the same color as what the shawl is. But like, I love beiges and browns, and that pop of blue, I love that. And that blue is, I think it's the Bicycle. Let me check. Yes, Westwood Bicycle, and it's called True Blue. And the main color, like this light tan color, is Momonoke Ramie Silk in Milk Tea. And then I also use Momonoke's Sock Fine in Teak and Mocha. So I think this one turned out really beautiful. And I actually ended up submitting this into a knitting show, a craft show. And it actually won 3rd place. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah, so I feel like with this shawl, I was more focused on wearability more than like creating a work of art that I could just admire and not wear. Let me move on to the next one. I'll throw this to the side. Okay. Actually, after that shawl, I had lots of like leftover yarn. So I ended up making this beautiful shawl. This one was a challenge, and kind of in a different way. This is the Fibrefest 2022 knitted shawl by Catherine Trippett. And you can see like there was sorry, I'm like covering my face. There was a lot of lace. Oh my god, I'm cutting off my head too. Sorry guys, this is like technical difficulties of my first YouTube video, so bear with me. So like this is my first shawl that I did that was like mainly lace work, and it took me a long time to finish this because I had to use like every brain cell in my head to like concentrate on like every single like pattern instruction. I'll zoom in for you. Each section is like different, so I changed the yarn every time a new section came up. So the majority of this is leftover yarn that I had from the previous shawl, the Painting Diamond shawl. But I also had some just like stuff from my stash that I used. I had a Manos del Uruguay Algeria, I'm so sorry, in quilt, and that's this middle color. And I don't know if it's turning up on the camera, but it's like very multicolored. It has like a bit of like mint green and kind of like an orangey tan, and it also has sprinkles of like red and blue. I'm sure that's not turning up, but you're gonna have to trust me on this one. It's like really pretty, and that was the reason why I just bought one skein of it, because I was like, I don't know what I want to make with this, but it's beautiful and I must have it, so that's what I used in here. And I also used another Algeria skein, but for the life of me, I could not find, I'm so sorry, I could not find the tag. I tried to Google it. Of course, I didn't put this on my Ravelry projects page. I should have. I didn't have any good pictures of it, so I was like, oh, I'll wait until I take a good picture. But it's this brown one right here. And I actually used that quilt color right at the end to like kind of fade into, I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit curled up. But anyway, this was beautiful, and I actually knitted this for the Fibrefest festival that they held in 2022, and we all knitted the same shawl, and then we took a picture together, so that was really cute. And everyone had like such beautiful like interpretations, I guess, of the pattern. Like it was amazing to see all the different colors. Like I went neutral, but a lot of people went like colorful, and that was like really beautiful. So let me put this one away. I wear this one a lot too. As you can see, it's brown again. Well, majority of it is brown. So like I wear this a lot as well. So that was all the shawls. Quite a lot of them. I've moved on from shawls. I've kind of like put a pause on shawls at the moment because I have plenty. But also my new obsession towards the end of 2022 was socks. Which is surprising because I was like, I don't get it. why would you ever want to knit socks? Like, I didn't even understand the appeal to it. But then I like knitted my first pair of socks, and it was an AfterThought heel, and I just used like scrap wool, and it was like a free pattern. Actually, maybe I'll get them for you. Just 1 second. I'll get them for you so I can show you. Okay, I was literally wearing them yesterday. I have to, maybe after this, when my beautiful partner is editing this, we can add like something to say what the pattern of these are. Yeah, so they're an AfterThought sock, and they're kind of like cut at the ankle. They like look super ratty because I wear them so often. But this is like my first kind of successful sock. I knitted a sock before that, and I think it was a heel and gusset, and it was just like I ran out of wool halfway through the second sock, and I used like a silk, which is fine, but like I don't think that was the right, like silk is not the right like material to make a sock. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was really early on. So this was like my first proper sock that I actually I feel like was successful. And you can see like I used that quilt color again that I used in this shawl here. And I also used the rest of the true blue from that, sorry, I'm covering my mouth again, from that painting diamond shawl from Stephen West. And then I also like the heels and the toes are that remainder of that Algeria sock colorway that I can't find. But they cut at the ankle. And they're a bit, like, I think it's because I've worn them quite a lot, but like you can see like the shape is kind of strange. Like I feel like it was, I didn't really know how to shape the sock right. But they like fit fine. Like it's for me, like I don't care. Like as long as they're wearable, which they are. But I really wanted to like improve on construction, and I felt like socks were like a good way to practice that, because like you don't need that much yarn. Like you're not putting a huge investment into socks, but you're still able to like learn how to construct objects, which I was lacking at that point in time. So I was like really focusing on socks. And I found this pattern that I fell in love with, and it is the DRK Everyday Socks by Andrea Mowry. It has like 1,000 projects on its Ravelry page, and I love this pattern. It like creates a like a ribbed sock, and it's got like sizes, like it has got a million sizes up on it. And just to give you an idea, these are actually for my partner. Like they're not for me. They're like huge. It's in a size like men's 12 because he's got huge feet. And the yarn is like this main color, which is red, green, and blue. It's from Little Bird Makes, and it's her mohair sock, and the colorway is King Parrot. And I actually bought this scheme during the Fibre Fest, and I actually got to meet the dyer who dyes this yarn, and she told me she lives in Canberra. I don't know if that's too much information, but I didn't catch her name. She lives in Canberra, and she was inspired by the king parrots in her backyard, which is why she colored it in these beautiful colors. It's funny because this first one, I always share this one sock because it like turned out so beautiful, like it's striped, and then the other one, I think this is just like the nature of like the nature of just like colorways that are just, what's the word? Not speckled, but like has multicolors. And this one's just kind of like all over the place. And also the heels and toes are that the bicycle true blue. Yeah, as you can see, I really love using leftovers. So I really make sure to try and like use the entire skein before I buy another one. I try to. I don't usually, but I try to. And actually the only alterations I made was that I didn't do the ribbing all the way. I don't know if you can see that. Oh my god. Maybe I should cover my face so it stops focusing on me. Yeah. So I did the ribbing here, and then for the bottom, like the bottom needle when I was knitting it, I just did straight stockinette. And the reason why I did that is because my partner is fussy, and I didn't want like the ribbing to be digging into his like the bottom of his foot. So I kind of tried to like stop that from happening by doing that straight stockinette. Anyway, but like also just like no, just in case you want to do the same as this, I would size down because
the stockinette doesn't like stick to the foot as much because it isn't like, you know how stockinette, it like, what am I saying? Like it collapses in on itself, so it makes it tighter, a better fit around the foot. But because it's a straight stockinette, it's like a little bit loose. So if I were to do that again, I would size down. And so keep that in mind if you want to do that. I don't know. I highly recommend this pattern. Like this was actually my second pair of socks that I made from that pattern. The other one, which I don't have right now, I actually gave to my sister. And it was like the first time I knitted it, it was like a dream. Like it was fine. And I really enjoyed it, which is why I made a second pair. Okay. Speaking of construction, like I'm bringing this out because I kind of like want some opinions / suggestions, because not a long time ago, like early last year, I made this vest, and it is the Carina Slipover by Cookie the Knitter, and I knitted this with some wool that I got from Spotlight. I don't know if anyone knows what Spotlight is, but it's like a craft store in Australia. And the yarn is Keepsake Fibre Co. 100% organic wool, and the colorway is wood. And look, like it looked like okay, obviously you can tell I'm not very happy with it, and it's not the pattern's fault. Like it looks really nice, and when I finished it, I really was like really excited for it. For like the cast-offs, so like the neckline, the arms, and the bottom, I did a tubular cast-off for the first time. I don't know, oh sorry, can you even tell if I do this? You can kind of see, I did like a tubular cast-off for the first time. I think the bottom is better, let me show you. Is that a tubular cast-off? Maybe I'm remembering wrong. No, I think I just did a tubular cast-off for the neckline, because I was like, oh, people will look at the neckline more, so I'll just do a tubular cast-off for the neckline and just leave the bottom, just like cast off normally on the bottom. And like, I really like it, but I hardly ever wear it, and the reason why is because it's not very flattering on me. It's like a very boxy shape. Sorry, it's got like this really cute like slit, and it's not very flattering on me because it's super boxy, and I'm like very top heavy. So like when things are boxy, I just look like, to me at least, I look like a house, because it's just like, whoa, you know. So I wore this out once, and like I didn't like, I got the opposite of compliments, so let's just say that. So like I've never worn it again. But I really like it. Like as an object, I really like it. I just don't like it on me. So if anyone has any suggestions on like the kinds of patterns I should be making as someone with that, like, who is top heavy, or even like the yarn that I'm supposed to be using, I don't know, maybe this one is like too thick. It's a kind of like, it said 4-ply, but I definitely think this is like an 8-ply, like a DK weight. And maybe because it's wool, it's 100% wool. Maybe it's just like has a bigger halo or whatever, it's fluffier. But yeah, if anyone has any suggestions on what pattern someone should make that has a big bust, please let me know. That's kind of what's stopping me from making sweaters, because I feel like there's lots of tailoring involved for me to look good in a sweater, and I don't have the skills to be able to do that yet, but I do really want to be able to knit sweaters. Okay, that is the end of my past projects. I'm going to move on to whips. I've been pretty good with whips. I'm definitely someone who doesn't like have a million projects going on at the same time. When I watch other knitting podcasts, I'm just like shocked at how many projects people have on the needles at the same time, which also makes me feel bad because I'm like very slow and I don't have many projects going on at the same time. But yeah, I wouldn't like consider myself a monogamous knitter, but I'm definitely not someone who has like the cast on fever and like wants to cast something on like every week. Oh, sorry, week. So I actually forgot what I put in here. This is a project bag that I bought from my recent trip to Vietnam, It's literally so adorable. I don't know why I just didn't buy more. I was like, I literally always need, you always need project bags. I don't know why I just bought one, but it's so adorable. And it's by this non-profit charity. It's called MKAL Quilts, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, MKAL Quilts, and they're a non-profit organization, and Vietnamese women in like rural areas quilt for them. And they had all of these beautiful quilts, and I've always wanted to know how to quilt. I can't sew. Like I sewed in high school, and I took like textiles, and I really enjoyed it. But I just never picked it up. But I would love to learn how to quilt. That would be maybe like a future endeavor, crafting endeavor. Okay, so what do I have in here? Okay, cool. This is like kind of like, this might be boring, I don't know. This is like a scrappy project I've got going. It's just like a meter square memory blanket. You're literally just seeing this true blue bicycle in every single project that I've shown you, but there he is, making an appearance again. So, okay, so what's the pattern? This is the Coziest Memory by Junkyard Knitting. This is just something I thought was a good idea to just like pick up whenever I just like couldn't be bothered knitting on one of my major projects. I just like knit a square or something. This is just like made up from like all of the leftover sock yarn I have. I always bought sock yarn even though I never knitted socks, if that makes sense. Like I just like sock yarn in general. So the majority of my projects are usually in sock yarn. So I have lots of like leftovers here and there, like little balls. So I thought it was a good idea to like create something like this. And also, again, with my obsession with quilting, in my brain, I'm like, this is close to quilting. Like a knitted version of a quilt, which got me excited, which is literally why I started this project. So there it is. Maybe I can update you guys on this like every so often. Not like every single time, but like every so often, so I can show you like the slow progress of this one. All of my ends hanging down. I do like knit, like sew in my ends as I go using the Weave and Steven method. If you don't know that one, just go on to Stephen West's YouTube and he'll show you. You can just like weave in the ends as you're knitting the row. It's pretty amazing. That was life-changing when I found that out. Yeah, so let me put this one to the side. This is gonna be quick. I literally thought I was gonna be talking for an hour, but no, here I am. I'm like halfway through. Okay. So I'm not embarrassed, but I kind of am a little bit. So I mentioned before my 2021 Stephen West MKAL shawl finished in 5 weeks. It was not a problem, no mistakes. Like I never had to rip back or anything. It was fine. This one, the 2022 MKAL, I have kind of jumped ship on this one. I haven't jumped ship. That's dramatic. Like, but I kind of like put it down because I was starting to get frustrated. And it's not the pattern's fault at all. It was mostly, I think, the pressure of like seeing everyone finish it. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't see this week's like, spoiler for the section, like blah, blah, blah. It was like too much. So I just like dropped it and I was like, I'm just going to look at what it looks like at the end. And maybe that will give me motivation to finish it. It didn't. No, I loved it. I just got distracted by other projects. But this is where I got up to. I think it was like clue 2. No, that's not right, because clue 2, I don't know if you're familiar with this. If you're not, that's okay. But I got halfway through clue 2 because clue 2 includes the, what am I saying? Clue 2 involves the cables. You guys are making me nervous. You're making me forget what the hell I'm even trying to say. Okay, so it's meant to include the cables here, and I actually cast it on to start that. But yeah, I just like, this was a struggle for me. So I've just kind of put it on hold. I convinced myself to pick this up in the new year, which I will. But yeah, that's where I got up to. Let me tell you about the yarn. I actually didn't put a Post-it note on it because I still have all the tags. So I'll just like read out the tags. Is that all of them? Oh, there's only 3 colors. That's right. Yeah, okay. So I've got the Giacomo Platinum Sock Fingering in Autumn Walk. And I actually have the skeins here, so I'll show you. This is the Autumn Walk, and I don't know if you can see, but it's like white and it's got like speckles of like green, blue, orange. Like it's beautiful. Like this yarn, like the yarns I chose was exactly what I envisioned for this shawl. So I was really happy that I was able to find like the colorways that I wanted. So that one's Autumn Walk. Let me put that one away. I've got the colorway Rusty Pumpkin in 100% superwash merino. All of these are superwash. I will always buy superwash yarn. I can't give a reason. I just always buy superwash yarn from the Australian wool store. And Rusty Pumpkin, which is like the perfect name for this one. It's like this super like vibrant orange. Like I feel like it looks slightly lighter like on the camera. Oh my god, look at me. I feel like it looks slightly lighter in the camera. But it's like this super saturated orange. And I love orange. Oh, here are my pillows. Yeah, like I love orange. Like it's definitely a color that speaks to me. So I got this one because it was so saturated. And then the final one is also another Giacomo Textiles skein. And it is the Platinum Sock again in Speckled Moss. And this one's beautiful too. Here it is. I'm not sure about this lighting, but it's, oh my god. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm just gonna put it in front of my face. Okay. It's like, oh my god, the lighting is changing. Oh my god. So it's like this olive kind of green, and it's got these really dark, almost like blue toned green speckles in it. And green's like one of my favorite colors. I love green, so yeah. So will I pick this one up again eventually? Like, I love the end product. Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't see the end of it, and I was like, oh, that's ugly. Like, I'm not going to frog this. But it's just a motivation to get back up and get back up on the horse again and start it again. We'll see. We'll see. Like, I've got it tucked away in a project bag. Like, I'll definitely pick it up. Like, whips give me anxiety. Like, if I have too many whips around, like, I usually just frog them if they're too old. Like, I'm pretty savage. I'm savage. I just, like, eliminate them. If they've been around for, like, a year, I'll just frog them because obviously there's something about them that I don't like. So I'll just, like, get rid of them and start something new. Oh, yes, and this project bag, I forgot to mention, I actually received this as a gift. I think it was a Christmas gift or a birthday gift from my mom. And she got this from Etsy, and she told me it was like a Russian, like, store from someone in Russia. I've got no clue. It was a gift, so I don't know, like, who the designer was of this. But it's, like, really handy. It's got, like, this side, and it's got lots of, like, pockets inside. And I added all of these pins that I bought from a night market. Oh, so cute. Oh, there's my little Bruce Lee pin. Yeah, that one's really cute. It's a good size. Like, it's bigger than my other one. Okay, I'm just adding it to the mountain I've got going over here. Okay. Here is another whip. It's another DRK Everyday Sock by Andrea Mowry. And these ones are actually for me, because the last two socks were for like other people, but this one's meant to be for me. And this is a skein that I actually bought from Fibres. It's so beautiful. It's from Skip Rope, the brand is called, and it's double Dutch sock, and the colorway is Rhymes with Orange. And it is just like, I'm crazy about this one, to be honest. Like, it stripes, and it's got like speckles of like bright like pinks and oranges and yellows, but it also has like gray. Like, majority of it is gray, and I feel like that really like makes the other colors jump out. This one really special. Here, I'll show you the whole skein. I love how it like has stripe sections. I don't know what that's called actually, but I love that. And how some areas like have like this stripe. Yeah, I love that. And this is only my first one. I actually brought this to my holiday in Vietnam to like do on the plane and while we're traveling. And I actually knitted on it way less than I expected. Sorry, I keep looking at myself and not the camera. This is my first time, guys. I'm sorry. Go easy on me. But yeah, I was meant to knit this on my holiday, and I didn't knit on it as much as I thought I would. But I'm on holiday, like, no, I'm not gonna be knitting the whole time. But yeah, I think I'm up to the like the heel. So I'm like halfway there. Did I mention that this pattern's a toe up? Yeah, so this pattern's a toe up, and I thought that was really interesting because I'd never done a toe up sock before. I had done like the heel gusset. Was that one toe up? No, I'm pretty sure that was top down. And the AfterThought sock was just like top down. And it uses like, I don't want to talk too much about the pattern, but like it uses, I think she says on the Ravelry page, she uses a Turkish cast on, which I'd never done before, but I love it now. It's like magical. It's like a magical technique. It's just like amazing. You can look it up on YouTube, the Turkish cast on technique. Like, it's magical. But yeah, that's what I'm working on like for myself. They were actually meant to be like New Year's socks for me, but I didn't finish them in time, so they're just gonna be regular socks. Okay. My last whip. Here I am saying I don't have that many. No, I have a lot. Like I have not as many as some people, but like I still have a significant amount. This one's actually quite a big one. This is a cardigan. Cardigan. The pattern is called Le Pouf, and it's by Hedgehog Fibres. And it's kind of like this cropped. Hopefully I can hold it up so you can see what it is. It's kind of like a cropped cardigan. All my stitch markers. It's kind of hard to show you. I should have put this on a coat hanger. Maybe that would have been easier. But I haven't done the button band. There's meant to be a button band, so like it falls off your shoulders because like there's meant to be like an inch on here. Super cute. Like I'm so excited about this one. I can't wait to wear this. Like I wore this. Sorry, I'm making this because I work from home and it gets really cold in my office. So I just wanted like a little, not like a huge cardigan, like a little one that like is closer to my skin. That I won't like sit on, so it like cuts like right above my hip. And I'll tell you the yarn. The main color, like this, it actually doesn't have a colorway name, but like this main color, which is kind of like, I'd like to call like a cloudy purple. Like it's got muted like lavender tones, and it also has like bright like dark, I'm not good at color description, I'm sorry, but like kind of like a bright purple mixed in there. It is, I bought this from Fibres as well, and this is the 4-ply wool from Pleasant View, and it's hand dyed. It was like really reasonable pricing. Like I bought like a 200 gram skein for like a very reasonable price. I wish I bought more. Like who cares? Like I could have a cardigan in this color. I could have had like, you know, a cowl in this color. Like I don't care. Like I could just have like a whole matching set in the same wool. I should have just bought all the skeins there. But yeah, it's very it's definitely not superwash. Here I am. I'm like, I buy only superwash. This is definitely not superwash. But it's very woolly. Like I like that. But it's not rough. But it feels like a lot. Yeah, like kind of like a traditional, more woolly kind of feeling to it, which I like. And like the cuffs and the bottom, and also the button band that I'll eventually do. This is Glenhaven Knits, Kid Mohair in 4-ply, and the colorway is Solstice. And oh my god, I didn't buy this skein in Fibres. I bought it at like a winter yarn festival, and it was actually right near my house, and I didn't know about it until I read it, because I'm a member of the Knitters Guild, and I read it in the newsletter that it was happening, and I was like, oh, that's like really close to my apartment, so I ended up going. And it's like, I love Glenhaven Knits. Like I knew about them before I even bought this yarn, because they've got like an Etsy store, and they have like these the most beautiful saturated purples. like in particular, like I don't know why, but like it really jumped out to me that they had like these super like jewel toned purples. And that's literally the reason why I bought this, because like it's, once again, the camera isn't really picking it up, but it's like this really rich royal purple. And it's like it's like mohair. I've never seen a 4-ply mohair ever. Like that was my first time. And it was the last skein. That's why I bought it. And it's really soft. Like it's beautiful. So yeah, I'm like close to finishing this one. I'm like up to the last cuff. I've only got like half an inch to go. I'm just using circular needles. But just like some of the alterations I made to the pattern. This pattern's free, which I was so surprised about. And a lot of people have made this pattern. But anyway, some of the alterations I made, you're actually meant to increase on the sleeve. And again, like I wanted something that wasn't like something that was just like close to my body, because I was just like sitting down at my desk, and I don't want like the sleeves to be like, you know, when I'm typing it like touches like the keyboard. So I actually decreased on the rounds that they asked to increase, and I was like, I have no idea if this is gonna be a disaster or not. I like my knowledge in like construction, like in sleeves and stuff, is like 0. So I was like, I'll just decrease when they asked me to increase, and it looks fine. Like I've tried it on, like that looks fine, right? And it turned out actually way better than I expected. I looked at the other projects that people had done, and I saw that people like didn't do the increases either, but there weren't any pattern notes. So I was like, did they decrease? Did they just do like a straight sleeve? So yeah, I just risked it, and it actually turned out fine. The only other note I have for that is that I increase the stitches for the sleeve. And the reason why I did that is because in the pattern, I believe they used 2 4-ply put together. So they used 2 strands of 4-ply and put it together. And I think, don't even get me started on gauge. Y'all, I don't know about gauge. I do pay attention to it. I pay attention to like obviously the weight of yarn that the pattern asks for. Do I swatch? I'm sorry. If there's anyone out there that doesn't swatch, like make me feel better. Like I don't swatch. I really should. But I didn't for this one. And when I tried on the body, after I finished the body and like split for the sleeves, I found that the hole was too small. And and again, I think the reason why is because I'm just using a singular strand of DK weight yarn. It says 4-ply, but it's definitely not like sock yarn again. Yeah, I love how vague I'm being. I'm sorry. So yeah, the hole was too small. So I just like added the stitches that would make it a size up for the sleeve. So yeah, I didn't decrease like for my size down to this to the cuff. I had sized up on the sleeve stitches, and then I decreased. If anyone's interested, that's beautiful. This yarn, I love it. I love how variegated. That's what I'm trying to say. I love how variegated the yarn is. Like, definitely gives it like almost like a heathered look. I don't know if that's the right term, but yeah, I love that. Anyway, I'm really excited to get this one done. And also, I did tubular casts off for both the bottom and the cuffs, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that. I sat on the sofa and I was like, I'm gonna put some mindless like TV show on, and I'm just gonna be like, purl off, knit on, purl off, knit on, in between. Yeah, I really recommend tubular cast off. Like, it definitely takes more work than just a regular cast off, but I feel like if you're someone who's really into finishing, which I am, yeah, it's something definitely to look into, because I think the end product is like really beautiful. Especially, like, I'll show you on the cuff. I feel like the cuff is like more important. Do you see how like snatched that is? That's just like so snatched. There's no like I find sometimes when I'm doing like a cuff, even like on the socks, like I'll show you, like I don't know if I'm being fussy, but look at that.
versus this. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like this one is like a bit jagged and it's like a bit all over. This one's like boom, like clear cut cuff. No sort of like it's stretched out or like this one has been worn, keep in mind, but like it's looked like this since I finished it. So I'm like not a fan of that. With socks, it doesn't matter because your leg is gonna be in it and it's just gonna look like this. Sorry, I'm covering my mouth. It's just gonna look like this. But with like a cuff, like I feel like it's more important to me for the cuff to be uniform. So that's why I did a tubular cast off on that one. So I'm really excited to get that one done. That's where that's inside. Stash-quisitions. Okay, so I don't have any Stash-quisitions. I do have one. I don't know if it counts, but I did want to mention it. So this was made for me as a part of the Knitters Guild one skein swap, Christmas swap. And the whole idea was that we all got a partner and we got like a little, like a profile of our partner of like the colors they like and the like materials they like and like what they want knitted for them. And this is from Jenny. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me put it on. Like I'm amazed, like color work. Like I love color work, but this is like intense. Like I've never done color work like this. And it's so adorable. I don't know if you can tell, but these are the goats. There's like goats on the beanie that like, oh, that sold me. They've got like horns. Oh, it's so cute. And then these are boats. I have no idea what the pattern is. Oh, that looks really good. I've only ever tried this on with my hair up, so I just look like an egg. But now that I have my hair down, oh my god, cute. Yeah, I don't know what the pattern is, but if you recognize it, let me know, because like, maybe I'll make one. I love the finishing of it. Like the top is like literally a star, and she's got like these like slip stitches that come, I don't know if they're slip stitches, but in my brain they are. Yeah, or decreases. Anyway, it creates like this beautiful star at the top of the head, which I love. And I love the colors. Like it's very like Australian. I don't know, like in my mind these colors like are Australian to me, so I really love that. So thank you, Jenny. It was beautiful. She also gave me like jams and chutneys and like a beautiful card, and I felt so bad because my partner literally just got a cowl and a curly whirly that I had lying around. So now I know for next year, it's not only just a knitted object, you have to go all out. So I'll know for next time. Maybe if I remember, we can insert a picture of what I knitted as a part of that, that Christmas swap. I knitted this cowl and it was like silk, and oh, I don't have the, I'll put the details on the screen if I can. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but it was just like kind of blue and rainbow cowl, and it was silk, and it actually ended up winning Best Knitted and People's Choice, because they all like put everyone's objects on the table and they voted for which one was the best, and my one won both categories. And it's so funny because when I was knitting it, I feel like knitting for another knitter is like the most like stressful thing ever, because I'm like, if it's bad, like they're gonna not be like, you know, it's like hard to impress like another knitter with like some garter stitch, like, not that I'm dogging garter stitch, but like, you know what I'm saying, like I felt the pressure. So I was absolutely shocked when I found out that I won both categories, and I actually ended up winning a gift card to the local knitting shop for my area, and also a pair of foldable scissors, which are amazing. Actually, I think they're right in here. They're literally amazing. Like I use them all the time because usually I just use whatever scissors I've got lying around. And what's bad about that is that sometimes it doesn't give you a clean cut. Like it just makes all the fibers weird. But this one, these are like proper knitting scissors. Like look at this. I feel like I'm showing off. I'm so sorry. But like I was just like so totally chuffed with myself. Here, I'll unfold them. I was totally chuffed with myself that I won both categories. I was so happy. Like that goes to show, like, you may think that your project doesn't look good,
but like it's because you're like the maker and you see all the mistakes, but to other people like it looks really good. And a cute little case, like, oh my god, how adorable is that? I was so happy. Like, I'm definitely doing it next year when they do it again. Okay, so the next topic is like my 2023 goals. I don't take knitting like that seriously. Like, it's not something that I'm just like, oh, I must knit like every single day and I must try new things every single day. But I definitely try to like give myself some sort of goal or aspiration for the year. Like when I first started knitting in 2020 and 2021, it was like shawls and trying new techniques through shawls. And then last year I was like dipping my toe into like socks and different sock techniques. This year I kind of want to really focus on construction in terms of like jumpers and cardigans, because like I envision like making a jumper that's like a family heirloom and it's just like a really high quality garment that I could wear for years and even like pass down to my kids. And like my shawls kind of act like that way too, but like I don't know, like of course like I feel like every knitter kind of feels like I need to knit jumpers. I don't know if I'm wrong, but like definitely jumpers I want to focus on. And I feel like jumpers are just like such an investment because you need such a huge volume of yarn, and I feel like that's what's been stopping me this whole time. Like I don't want to buy like a huge volume of yarn for a jumper that I actually don't end up liking. So I need to learn like what kind of patterns I should knit. Most of my patterns I've knitted in jumpers, like for example that vest that I showed you before, that's a really good example where I wasn't like happy with the finished product on what it looked like on me. Like I always knit like modularly, so like instead of in pieces. But I don't know, maybe that's something I should be doing, like especially with like my body type. Maybe knitting in pieces would be better structurally. I have no idea. It's something I need to look into, but that is definitely a goal for myself. And also like I kind of want to stretch out in terms of like yarn. Like I buy yarn, don't get me wrong, I buy yarn, but like I had like a pretty low spend year last year, so I would really love to kind of let myself like invest in my hobby a little bit more. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I spend money on yarn, but I feel like I can't knit unless I have yarn, right? So like I need to buy yarn, and I feel like the type of yarn really impacts how much you love the project or the finished object in the end. If you don't like the yarn, you're probably not going to like the finished object. So that's something I really want to focus on. But anyway, I think that's all I wanted to cover for today. Let me like put something on. Maybe we can have like our, what is it called? Y'all. What is it called, that picture that you see on the front of the YouTube video? Kill me! Oh my god, I literally have no idea what I'm talking about. But let me put this on so that maybe this can be our picture that we put in the front of the, the YouTube video. Thank you for spending this much time with me blabbering on about God knows what. Hopefully next month I'll have some new things to show you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.